Hey there, Tubanites. It's your friendly neighborhood flash in the pan. Today we are talking about speed loaders for the wonderful Smith & Wesson 642 J-frame. If you don't know what a speed loader is, it's just a very simple device that enables you to hold rounds, to speed load or to more quickly load your revolver than by putting it in by hand. Now, I will say that a lot of times that's a misnomer. Sometimes they go in nice and smooth. That time it did, as you may, well, you can't see because it's down below you off camera, but trust me, that one went pretty smooth. So anyways, I had a viewer, ask me what I use. So at first, there was a 2-pack of the HKS variety. It's the number 36 for those of you looking for a J-frame. I bought a 2-pack of those a while back, and that's what I've been carrying around me for spare ammo for my little J-frame, because as we know, 5 rounds is not a lot. I practice a little bit with it, not a whole lot. I figure if you're reloading a 5-round revolver, you're in pretty deep anyway, so might as well put your head between your legs. Anyways, so no, he asked me what I was using, what I had good luck with, and all I could respond with was the HKS, because that's all I had. So that got me thinking, well, I have bought, so there's a company called FiveStar. I forget where they're out of, somewhere up north, Minnesota, Wisconsin, one of them places. But they make aluminum. I have a couple of theirs for my my Taurus 357 8-round. They make very nice stuff. So I went ahead and bought one of those. They're actually available on Amazon now, so I went ahead and bought one of those. And comparing the two, it honestly feels like that one goes a lot smoother than the HKS. And I think that has a lot to do with just the, let's do this, let's dump these. I haven't actually done this yet, but I've been meaning to. Yeah, so because this is plastic and this is aluminum, they can run this a little bit thinner than you can this reliably. And plus they also, as you can see, they machine out the in-between spaces, so it feels like it really gets in that little spot, real well. The one guy that I was talking to, I apologize, man, if you're watching, I did not write down your name before I started the video. I should have. He was asking about, how it works inside. Now these are the stock grips that come with it. He was saying that he had swapped his out and they were a little thicker. And I was like, man, for me, as it is, there's not a lot of wiggle room in that space. So if you're saying that this grip is sticking out more in the way, it's going to be a problem. As it is now, so I'll switch back to the HKS. Let me put some rounds in that. Sorry, this is there's no real non-fumbly way to do this, so bear with me here. So, all right, 5 rounds back in. So as it is now, I'll try and do this on camera. There's, you kind of already have to like angle in, and then what I do is I'll pop it, so you rotate clockwise, and then I'll just spin and kind of pull, and they kind of drop out, and that mostly works. That's like the most reliable way. You'll see people stick them in there and kind of jiggle and wiggle, and the thing of it is, man, you're already at an angle with these, so you're already kind of wedged against the housing or whatever's the device holding the thing in place. So with this guy, it doesn't seem, with the FiveStar, it doesn't seem as bad. I feel like you can get more of a straight shot in there. Let's see here. And then they also, so I'll say this, there's a little more wiggle room with the FiveStar, whereas with the HKS, now when it's not locked in, so this is locked in, okay, so it still does it when it's locked in. Now I don't know if this is good or bad. Again, I haven't played with enough of it, but with the HKS, it doesn't wiggle quite as much. It does wiggle some, so I don't know if maybe that slop, if you want to call it that, makes this a little easier to get in there, but it just seems to go a lot simpler with these guys. Now, of course, there's a price difference. This is mostly plastic. Of course, the knob back here is aluminum, or I assume aluminum. And this feels sturdy. There's nothing wrong with this. It works fine. And they are more affordable. So I believe I got 2 of these God, at the time, what was it? It was like 20 bucks, I think, for two, so maybe 10 bucks per. It wasn't too bad. This guy was $22, $23, something like that. And then shipping and tax and all that, so it was, you know, $27. Same thing with those, a little bit more than that. But so this is about twice the cost. It's also, so this is a training issue you want to remember. So does this, yeah, it does rotate the same, huh? No, I'm dumb. Okay, never mind. It's not a training issue. They both, when you insert, you rotate clockwise. Then I got to thinking, well, there's those other kinds, the little strips, and I didn't have any of them, just like I didn't have the FiveStar one either. But I have seen these for years, and they seem like they'd be a little easier to carry, not quite as bulky to carry. That you just, sorry, little strips that you just, I'm snapping them in there because I haven't actually done this yet. You're going to see my first attempt live on camera. So the whole idea with these is just to put one or two in at a time and not lowered. So they just sit like that, and of course that's a little easier to carry, not quite as bulky as this near pocket. This actually came, so it came with a 4-pack of these little speed strips, and it came with a pouch that you can put on your belt that's capable of holding 2. I am not likely to use that pouch. I'm more likely just to slide these into my pocket and just run them loose like that. I don't need any more on my belt than I already have, which isn't a lot, but still, I don't want any more on my belt that I already have. My concern with these, and again, I'll get back to you, but they seem like they stay in all right. So anyway, so what you do, same situation. So instead of doing all 5 at once, what you'll do is you'll put 2 in, and you'll just snap them off. 2 in, snap them off, 1, snap them off. That's not bad. I kind of like that, actually. I'll start carrying these and let you guys what I think of, let you guys know what I think of them. If you're going to carry a revolver, this is definitely a training issue. It's something you need to practice with and get relatively okay with it. You're going to fumble no matter what in the instance, but as the military likes to tell you, when you're in a high stress situation, you always fall back on training. So it's one of those things where if you're sitting there watching the YouTubes, like we all do, get yourself some snap caps or some, you know, dummy rounds, same difference, and just sit there and play with it and see what works best for you. One thing I have noticed while I'm sitting there goofing around, and I usually cycle, excuse me, what actual 5 rounds I keep in the gun, and so I will half-assed, you know, play with one of these when I'm swapping out the rounds I keep in the cylinder. It does seem a little clunkier when you are using hollow points. So right, so these dummy rounds are round nose, and so part of me, and this is where I'd love to get some input from you guys, anybody that has actually trained this or played with it, or I don't know, read more articles about it than I have. I am considering just carrying hollow points in the chamber, just carrying it in the gun, and then my reload just being some round nose, just some regular old like 158, 130, whatever I throw in there, just for ease of reload. I know back in the day, I don't know if this is still accurate, it probably is not, but I know back in the day when people were carrying 1911s more prevalently, and they were trying to carry hollow points with 1911s before, obviously they made a change in the loading ramp and stuff like that, they always had a problem with the first round on a fresh magazine feeding a hollow point from that first round. And so what a lot of people would do, if you watch the Punisher movie with Thomas Jane, they don't tell you why he does this, but if you watch that movie, he puts in a new magazine, loads that first round, but then he ejects it. And I saw an explanation somewhere that that's actually a throwback to exactly what I'm talking about. So he did the same thing. He had a Full Metal Jacket as the first round on that magazine, but he wanted to get to the hollow points, so he yeeted that freaking live round, which seems silly to me, but to get back into the hollow point ammunition. So it's just food for thought. I figure if you're reloading, if you're in any situation where you're reloading, it's gotten pretty deep, and you're not going to care much at that point what ammo you're putting into the gun. I know all the things, all the tactical guys are going to jump on me and say this or that. I get it, I understand. I'm not saying it's the best idea. I'm saying, do you want to be shot while reloading, or do you want to be shot while putting rounds down the range after reload? I just don't know the time difference on that. I'm sure it's a training issue. It's just food for thought. This is me just thinking out loud with a couple bros, all right? And you ladies as well if you're around. Anyways, chime in, let me know your thoughts on it, or if you've read anything on that. I'm curious. But there's options out there. They also there's a version of these that I was going to buy before this video, but it wasn't going to come until like another month or something like that. I'm sure that has to do with the tariff wars going on. But it was shaped like this, but it was more like this. So you would take the little, plastic, rubber, whatever, and it would slide, it would slide in, just like one of these guys would, except you don't twist the thing, you would just pull the tab. It has a little tab just like this, but think of it as shaped like the cylinders, and then you just pop them out like that. I imagine that would be pretty useful as well, because you can put it in without getting in the way of the frame, not having to worry about clearing it with one of these and not interfering with those rounds dropping into the cylinders reliably. Maybe we'll come back and do a video if I decide to get some of those, but right now that's a long wait. Anywho's, I really appreciate you guys watching. Please do all the YouTube stuff. Like, share, subscribe. I am getting close to monetization. That's 500 subscribers and a certain amount of viewing hours. So also, if you're willing and able, go back and look some of the backlog of videos. I've actually been doing this for a while, just haven't really gained any notoriety. Not that I have any now, but I'll take what followers I can get, and I appreciate you guys watching. Range trip's coming, as he keeps saying. I got kids learning to drive, and I don't know, got a lot of adult obligations keeping me from making range trips. But anyways, excuses. I appreciate you guys watching. See you on the next one. Take care.